Are we live? I think so. I think I just need to refresh the cameras. That's it. Yeah, no, they've all thrown. Ah, so it's just my end that I can't see stuff. Right. Right. Like that. Right. So everybody's moving on there. Why is my stream not playing? Yeah. Yeah, I've just done that. It's... it doesn't matter. Right, let's close that. Okay, it is working. It's just being really slow behind everything else. There we go. Hi everybody. Sorry about that. My PC just went no. I was. Dormammu, I have come to bargain. let me try the let me try it. Dormammu, I have come to bargain. The session ended before we long rested. Mr. Papato. Oh, you could. Right. Okay. Oh, for fuck. Which means you've got. Which means you've got to do it again, Morgan. Morgan? Apparent. Can you
Carry on.
There we go. You should. You should. There we go.
Right, there we go. Start all the intros again. Yeah.
Oh, for fuck.
Go for it, Morgan.
There we go.
Morgan,
You have to do the
did you
Welsh.
see
The
Are you
Welsh.
telling- Right. So, I'm Morgan. I play Cat Luma, the Tiefling Cleric Warlock, and oh fuck my life. Again. Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Anyway, on to Moon.
That was even worse than last time.
What was worse?
Okay, hang on.
What do I do at Aussie?
No, it's
Yeah.
my turn.
No.
Hi, I'm Moon. I play Arwen, the halfling cleric. I will say it as are when I've made a few adjustments to make it fit within the world, since it's Arwen, since Dormammu's not a real god. Devour, I've come to end you. Done my research about the Dark Six.
Yay. Bunny!
Hello, yeah, I'm Bunny. I am Lord Foreign Amberhammer. And yeah, I'm probably going to do the line as Foreign, which is going to probably be like, Dormammu, I'm here to fight you.
And I would like to add that Foreign now has a new thing for combat. If you all look at his just above his picture,
Wait, what?
he now has a rage icon.
Oh, that's great.
And Mother Mapia.
Hello, I'm Mother Mapia. I play Kerner, the Dragonborn sorcerer, and I go, Dormammu, I normally never bargain, so in this case I'm just going to turn into Acid Splash.
Dormammu. Looking to bargain.
Why does that sound like kind of thing? I want like a secret relationship with Dormammu.
And to make everybody feel better, I have onigiri.
Cheese crackers.
Okay. How about this, Dormammu? I have come to knit you a scarf. I'd like to just say, oh, Dormammu, baby, if my JD was here, you know, you'd be having far more problems than having to bargain with a little old Harley here, sweetie. I just want my Mr. J here with me to help with this bargaining because he's so damn good at it. You sounded like a redneck Harley.
Anyway, last time you had managed to defeat the Circle of Rot. You had fought through snow and storms and giants carrying you on their shoulders. And yeah, we very nearly had people bite several bullets repeatedly at great length.
Mhm.
But you were able to not only shatter the leadership of the trolls, but you were able to stop the Winter's Knight from leading his forces through into this realm and claiming the lands as part of his winter domain. Almost immediately at the time, you began to see signs of a thaw, and sort of things started to move. And over the last couple of weeks, as you have managed to get back to the hold, and really start to pick up the pieces, and that's what we'll go on to in a minute. There is the most noticeable difference is that you no longer feel trapped in an everlasting now. There's actually more of a sensation of these couple of weeks as time that has passed. The weather is more variable. The winter storms have stopped. The lower lands have thawed to a degree. There's a lot more mud and a lot more sort of rain, which has kind of washed a lot of the burnt wreckage and the piles of half-eaten wildlife and the general devastation down into the rivers, down into the lakes, and become a lot more the kind of squelchy, muddy, but sort of still kind of biting cold on the cheeks that you're kind of used to at these sorts of altitudes. The mountain tops and the high passes are still full of snow. It is winter.
What about the mountain bottoms?
Mountain bottoms are snuggled up nicely in the pub.
Okay.
There you go. And headway is beginning to be made in clearing the passes that had been closed by avalanches. it actually seems that for the first time in however long it has been, the efforts to clear those passes actually are making an impact. They're actually starting to get through. If I just quickly bring us into the map, bear with me. Where is it gone? DBC Amberhammer, that's where I want to go. Oop. Hopefully, if I ping on the map,
Yeah.
a degree of normality is beginning to return to the gardens. The hearth still, the hearth in the Welcome Lodge still burns, but it doesn't feel quite the extreme of temperature differences between indoor and outdoor. The snow on the garden has largely retreated, but as you can see on the kind of the rocks and the sort of more tree-covered areas, the snows are still quietly retreating. I'm just going to turn off the dynamic lighting. So stop with everything like that, so you get a better idea of what's going on now. And the refugees that you had brought into the hold are able to begin not just repopulating and rebuilding Newtown at the base of the stairs, but starting to think about how they might be able to sort of re-establish the farms and to recover from this winter. It's tough, but there's a definite sense of the harsh emergency receding. I think that's probably the best description. You are therefore a couple of weeks in, and I'm just going to quickly go around and sort of ask you sort of what you've been sort of focusing on for the last couple of weeks as you sort of rest from your injuries and come to terms with the oddities around your lives. I will start with Felenia. What have you been doing the last couple of weeks?
choking on onigiri.
Uh-huh. That's what we're calling him now. Okay.
I didn't know that's what you call Karlak.
Anyway, I think I've been out helping get more supplies for the hold.
Mm-hmm.
Reflecting on what happened. Mainly, yeah, I think definitely getting some, like, going out hunting, because obviously wildlife is going to reappear with the thawing.
Mm-hmm.
And just trying to get people more comfortable again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a kind of survival roll. Just to kind of sort of get an idea of how successful hunting and just generally sort of your activities have been.
Just a normal survival roll, yeah.
Yeah, just a normal survival roll.
Yeah. 23.
23. Oh, there. Good. That's a good roll. So yes, you and various of the other kind of locals who have also sort of been hunters in their lives have started to range out and you're able to sort of start kind of confidently refilling the larders.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the wildlife that had completely disappeared had merely been in hiding rather than eaten and devastated and everything else like that. It's not quite the normal levels. You can tell that the local populations have taken quite a dent, either from the trolls themselves or from the predators that had been lured down from the sort of the higher reaches to sort of deplete the kind of the animal life in your
Okay.
local area.
If that's the case, then we won't over hunt. It'll just
No.
be
Yeah, enough. Yeah, I mean, and having done your 23 on your roll there, I'd say that's you get a good idea fairly quickly yourself and the other hunters that you kind of liaise with, you sort of keep up with, and you're all comparing notes from what you found and identify various areas, and are able to to kind of, almost to husband the kind of the various sort of flocks and herds, and you find that there's some species of sort of ground dwelling birds, for example, similar to pheasants, that sort of thing.
How do you marry an animal?
No, husbandry, as animal husbandry, raising and looking after. You're able to, you're able to find, for example, sort of the pheasants and related species had gone to ground and sort of started to emerge from their various nests and hiding places. And you see things like sort of find like some of the cave systems nearby that some wildlife had sort of been taking shelter from the elements up there, and it's sort of almost that fascination as you're doing it, was sort of just how, with everything that was going on, the kind of the local wildlife has itself done its best to sort of try and get through this period of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, positive and a real sense of reconnection, and birdsong. You're hearing birdsong for the
Which
first
we
time.
haven't heard for a while.
No, you're hearing birdsong. You're hearing sort of you're in the woods, and it's not the deathly silence that seemed to sort of shroud and blanket absolutely everything. Kaluma, what have you been up to for the last couple of weeks?
Kaluma has been vigorously researching the magic that was used on the portal, and has been sending out like letters to different parts of the continent they've lived to see if anyone knows.
Okay, you've not really got a we sort of got like a messenger pigeon / raven sort of facility where you are at the moment. House Civis, as you remember, was in Flower Town, and they've been out of until now.
Didn't they pretty much just didn't Flower Town get pretty much decimated at one point?
You did hear Urash talk of eating Flower Town.
Yeah.
And and Faye also said that the trolls had devastated much of the surrounding area when she arrived.
Okay, then. Well, Prima's just been literally picking up the magic of the portal then.
Okay. Interestingly, the deep hidden library has disappeared as if it never existed. But the records that you've got still available in the main library, let's have an investigation roll, I think. $13. There's not a lot specific on portals. It's not really been the main focus of the stuff you've got. But what you do come across are references to what are called manifest zones. Which there's kind of reference to something called the Grand Orrery of the moons and Eberron as they sort of dance through the cosmos. And as the moons come closer to Eberron, each of those moons is tied to one of the planes surrounding Eberron in terms of the outer realms. And so, for example, you have areas that have got like a permanent connection where the magics of that realm are more associated. Shan is the most famous of those, for example, in that it is tied as a manifest zone to the plane of air, the elemental plane of air, and that's how it is able to have its flying towers and sort of flight magics and things like that are so much more effective there. You get confirmation of stuff that you previously sort of looked at, where the Feywild, these sorts of realms, are tied to a realm known as Thelanis, and identify the moon that is connected to. And it looks like part of what was enabling that portal to work was the proximity of that moon, of the moon Thelanis, to Eberron. And sort of doing that, I could look at that and comparing sort of the night skies and things like that. It looks like that moon is a lot further away than you remember it being in the night skies
I'm gonna,
of late.
having found out, I'm gonna basically sort of like pitch up a tent like outside, take some like, you know, take my rations, have like my ever-growing pets, and literally just camp out and keep an eye on like the moons and where they're going.
Okay, so start doing that kind of astronomy
Yeah.
observations and things like that. And yeah, and sort of, you know, the otters sort of are very sort of very often sort of nearby, and the male in particular sort of does quite a lot of coming and curling up in your lap while you're sort of sketching the heavens and things like that, and sort of almost as if he's kind of looking at that and sort of almost following your gaze and sort of,
I may
and then
just,
nudging you when you don't give him enough fish, you know.
I may end up like, you know, I may just end up, you know, reading to my various pets about like the different moons that I'm seeing.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Kerner, what have you been doing the last couple of weeks? Obviously, you've got, yeah. So, what have you been up to the last couple of weeks, Kerner?
Right, so I've been spending a lot of time with Hannah, Loris, Faye, for obvious reasons. What Faye says, Kermit. We've been talking about wedding plans. We've been talking about Loris in the future. I've been putting Faye's mind at rest and also saying that actually before we left, Portal, even though it was quite destroyed, I made sure it was all webbed up. So actually if anyone tried to come into it, they would walk straight into webs.
Okay, yeah.
Asking her how her training with forgotten her name. Katia has been going, and research has been doing, and wondering if the guy that was in the hidden library, whether he's still about.
Okay. Yeah, that's so. Check this the thing. So, so her studies have been coming along reasonably well. I mean, there's not a lot between the library in terms of sort of teaching you how to be a sorcerer, because it's that kind of natural, as you know from your own sort of experience, it's sort of something that wells up from you. But she does look like effectively she's starting back over as a sorcerer rather than a warlock. She's sort of lost all access to the pacts and the magics that she had as a warlock. That's just been completely stripped away from her. But she is growing into a competent sorceress in her own right. She hasn't quite sort of decided on any kind of speciality as such, but she isn't really in any great rush to sort of go sort of expanding sort of knowledge and sort of it's that sort of it's like the sort of partly it's a make an insight check.
Look at it with advantage because it's on my thumbnail.
No, no, because it's not really something that she's necessarily aware of herself.
23.
Okay. You think there's an element here of once bitten, twice shy. That the loss of her power and strength is making her almost a little bit afraid to kind of grasp this new option and really run with it. So it's quite a slow and steady, being very sure of what she can do, and sort of yeah, she's definitely sort of not got the kind of the burning inquisitiveness to learn all the things that they used to have. She's really quite still
Apprehensive.
quite subdued, and I think sort of yeah, apprehensive, subdued, and partly you think there's an element there of just giving herself the time to heal. She's actually just enjoying being around people and actually embraced and accepted as part of the community, rather than other, which is kind of the kind of what sort of was surrounding her being a warlock. Katya and Rakan are still around, but she tells you that they disappeared for a while. Around the time that you went off to sort of to go confront the trolls, Katya was also doing research, and had become quite secretive, but had taken Rakan out of the hold after conversations with the Seneschal, for a couple of field trips. And on one occasion had come back accompanied by an ogre, or a half ogre, who had not caused me problems, but had then sort of disappeared back off into the forests. And Katya sort of been spending more and more time out, sort of just out in the outside, in the outer area. She's been sort of still doing the helping with sort of keeping the fires lit and sort of helping people, and doing spending a lot of time sort of listening to and sort of playing with and sort of entertaining the children, and that's very much a sort of a comfort, quiet, downtime is that sort of thing, telling stories and listening, and in particular asking a lot of questions. One of the guards tells you a lot of questions about the legends of the Auntie in the Fields, and yeah, she when you kind of meet up with her, she's sort of coming back out. She's sort of been out, sort of picking berries and sort of stuff to sort of try to sort of that have survived under the snows, sort of try and contribute to the kitchens. She is there's a sort of an anxiety, but nothing that you can quite put your finger on. But she's still been sort of taking the time with your sister and sort of being there and being present, and and Rakan is usually found quietly babbling, either in his cage or sort of scampering around in the library, and actually spending quite a lot of time. Sort of comes over and sort of plays with the otters with you. Doesn't sort of push in, but if they're every now and then, especially the male, will go over and sort of occasionally sort of go beg food off him. So it's every now and then he'll have sort of some of the scraps of fish or whatever, and sort of. And it's that real thing of this kind of this spindly sort of slightly distracted, like it's like his brain is in 3 different places simultaneously, but he sort of treats your male otter, which I can't remember what you called him, with, if anything, with really deep respect. I mean, you catch on one occasion sort of bowing to the otter on one occasion, sort of doing things very, very delicately. But at no point has caused any trouble or any harm to anyone. And you just get used to this kind of stream of consciousness babbling that sort of just wanders around. But yeah, So sort of that. Okay, so far so normally weird. If weird is Anyway.
While he does that, I'll basically I'll tell him what I'm doing and read to him.
Okay, fair enough. He sort of listens attentively, and all the attention span of a caffeine fueled sparrow, but he does sort of.
He tries.
He tries. Present in body, not necessarily in mind, sort of thing.
Obviously, seeing this, I try and rekindle some sort of the conversation we'd had before I left, and kind of tried to tell him that the dragon's eye is broken.
That gets a reaction. That gets a real sort of. Oh, he's broken. Broken. And can you see him looking at his hands and going, "Eye broken. Broken eye. Eye broken."
When I hear him go, "I broken," I go, No, you're not broken.
Yeah, broken, brain, broken, eye. Decide up. No, decide up.
No. You're very good.
Big green with far too many teeth in it.
I was my dagger bashing on my teeth.
Okay, there then ensues a 5-minute grin off between the Dragonborn and the.
and the weird little goblin creature, yeah.
So far so normal. Lord Thorin Amberhammer,
Yes.
how have you been spending your last couple of weeks?
Oh. Finally glad that I'm not having to deal with having a mental breakdown.
It's a nice bonus, yeah.
Yeah.
What about your character?
I was going to say pick one. But yes. I've probably just been more helping with, well, I suppose, helping the refugees set Newtown back up, and then also looking into possibly seeing what we can do about Flower Town and re-establishing.
Okay. So yeah, so sort of most of the kind of the artisans, craftsmen, and things like that, sort of fairly busy. The sound of hammering, hammers and nails and boards being replaced and sort of put back up, sort of really echoes up from the valley below, quite regularly. So it almost becomes sort of a fairly standard sort of backdrop to any conversation had out in the gardens. And that seems to be going well. And between that and the kind of the work sort of taken to excavate the passes, so I'm just going to get the area map. What is that one? Here we go. Yes, we do. Slightly change the way that the screens appear on the thing.
Yeah.
Can you all see that? There
Yes.
you go. That's working. Right. So they're mainly working on the pass to the northeast over here, the blocked pass. And over the 2 weeks, really start to sort of make headway with it. Let me just get onto the map. And there's a suggestion made that maybe we want to sort of rename the path. It was never sort of really sort of any significant, but given everything that's gone through, there's sort of a suggestion that some sort of commemorative name for reopening it might be appropriate, and they kind of wonder if you've got any ideas.
Oh, you're asking me questions now.
Mm.
Uh, I don't know why, but the name Victory Pass has popped into mind because I think, well, we did, I suppose,
Yeah.
get our victory in the end. So
Yeah, you did. Yeah, there's a lot of nodding and sort of lot of sort of yeah, quite sort of yeah, and it starts entering into common sort of parlance. Really, that's sort of it starts being called victory pass. Just get my see if I can get this to behave itself. No, and I'm going. See if I can get that off there. No. Put that back where it was, take that off, there we go, we'll do a brand new one. And we'll call it
Do you want me to take off my?
Victory
Do
Pass.
you want me to take off all my
your doodlings.
doodlings? We don't really need
you like
those now,
my-
do we?
Nothing beats the doodle we did on Tuesday.
Yes, thank you, Morgan.
Are you drawing penises again?
Yes, all of them were. Moon was
I
trying to
wasn't-
correct. Moon was trying to correct them into normal things, like
I was trying to make it into like a person, like a cowboy.
and then it turned into a cowboy with its penis out.
I was being the good one.
Fair enough. I'm just going to put in there a new label of
I'll see if I can.
Full Cavern. Just to
Leah,
mark roughly where that is.
just say I asked you a question, DM.
Okay.
No, Leah.
Oh, sorry, what was
Oh.
that? No, I've done it.
No, I asked
Oh.
you a question, DMs.
Oh, who asked you? Who? What? When? When? You asked me a
Who's
question in.
asking who what?
Right, there we.
Idiots.
Oh, in DMs.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, Tim. Continue.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Sorry, it was DM. I was like, ah. Yes. Hi,
DM
Gary.
cubed. Yeah. So yeah, it is renamed Victory Pass, and a lot of the old sort of, you actually get to the point where you're actually starting to excavate the kind of the actual level of the kind of the semi-paved road, and the sort of real sort of conversations around sort of giving it some proper relaying of the surface, and sort of starting to work on that. And it's sort of very much on the wish list of, yeah, when we've made it back through, we've got back and we can get people in. We can sort of we can hire some extra stone workers in, and we can sort of get that sort of get a proper surface on here. And again, it's that unusual thing of it's the first time in ages that people have actually started to talk about the future, to talk about life, not just returning to normal, but of improvement, of making the place better. And it's sort of that sort of, again, it's almost shocking in that it's been this long, and it's just this very palpable change in mood hanging over everyone. There's not the feeling of literally the feeling of doom that you've all been fighting against for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Arwen, what have you been doing for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah. I've pretty much been resting. So I tended to their wounds. Or they're all fit, doing all exercise with everyone. When he notices Valenia going out to go hunting, he is going to be chasing after her because injury, so she doesn't do too much strenuous activity so soon after getting badly injured.
Fair enough.
Just
Let's
trying
make a
to
medicine roll.
Yep.
Yeah, make a medicine roll for me.
Medicine. That's a 27.
Yeah. So yeah, you get fairly adept at kind of spotting kind of the signs of fatigue and resetting of bones and applying or at the very least prescribing hot poultices and sort of long soaking baths and suggesting exercises people can do to kind of loosen up the muscles that have been so cracked and everything else like that. You also, during that time, have to treat the remaining mark left over from when Thorin survived the Finger of Death spell.
Oh yes, my
Yes.
scar.
Yes.
I actually low-key forgot about that.
I was waiting for that because I was like, do I get to sort of describe what it looks like now?
You
Yes.
absolutely do. Yes. So,
Yes.
once it is healed,
Mhm.
what's left? What does it look like?
I'm gonna say it looks like it's not gonna be kind of tricky to describe, but almost like an electrical sort of fault has hit me, and so there's kind of like the
Okay.
I suppose
That kind of
scarring in the middle, and then almost lightning type patterns coming out of it.
Yeah,
Well, like,
absolutely. Yeah.
you know, has anyone seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, like when Azula points her lightning at Aang when he's state and like
Yeah.
wound he left over. That's what I have in mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I try and find.
Possibly. I mean, alternatively, if you Google the pictures of people who have survived lightning strikes, absolutely, it looks like lightning under in the epidermis and the skin. It's sort of a very very distinctive set of scars. Yeah, I think that's entirely appropriate. That's a good thing. Don't forget to put it in under the notes on your character of where it is. And
Oh yeah, I will put that in. Yeah, I'll do that while I'm thinking about it.
yeah, it's just as a reminder, really, of just how close everyone came, and especially you in particular, to being utterly obliterated by those creatures.
But I was just too stubborn and angry to die.
You were too angry to die.
Yeah.
I think that is a great thing to be commemorated and entirely on brand for you. I think is the
Yeah,
best
I
description.
think definitely.
The kind of 2 weeks sort of really do sort of go by quite sort of surprisingly quickly. And before long, you're going to get the word back that the path is clear. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm definitely gonna sort of go in person just to see what we're dealing with.
Okay. What about everyone else? You all going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, where are we going?
Flower Town.
Oh yes.
The pass is open.
Let's go.
Yeah, and obviously being lord and master of all I survey, I just think I should obviously go and see, like, right, what's going on, what we're dealing with.
I now have an image of Thorin with Loris on his lap, going, "One day, Loris, all that I touches will be yours."
Except that bit where the shadow is, that's Summer's Town, we don't go there.
That's hardly cool. Am I wrong?
I'm not saying anything.
No. we wouldn't wish to. Okay. Are you going on foot, or are you travelling on? Obviously, you got the sort of various sort of clawfoots and sort of ponies and things that are available. So going on foot, riding. Just so I've got an idea of how you're travelling.
Yeah, Armor's probably on a clawfoot to keep up with everyone's pace because he's small.
Fair enough. Yeah, you make your way. There's sunshine. There's and especially as you sort of start to sort of come out of the mountains and sort of down into more civilized lands, you sort of turn back to this kind of more local map, the wider sort of structure, which there's all sorts of figures on it that I need to take off. So bear with me just one moment while I take those off. And you start to make your way through that pass towards the first of the what was the guard posts, if you remember, that had been isolated and had been held by miners, sort of doing the worst of the siege. And you get there, and it's looking actually pretty good, Nick. There's a small contingent of guards who they're wearing the Amber Hammer livery. There's the flag flying high. There's sort of a small graveyard nearby with marker stones. And then they don't look recent. They look actually, they're well grassed over and everything else like that. And there's absolute shock and surprise. There's like a challenge that sort of comes forth, and then sort of almost immediately confusion. There's no other way to describe it. Utter confusion and almost tears of joy. And the guards coming away from the patrols and away from the palisade, and then literally come running out and sort of throwing themselves almost the ground, going, "Oh my God, we thought, my lord Thorin, we all thought everyone was dead. It's been so long." And Thorin, make a perception check.
Okay. This is when I probably get like a nat 1, knowing my luck. Oh no, I'll take that.
Yeah, nice. Okay. It's a bit odd. You recognise a couple of the guys. They're sort of mine. You recognise some of these people. And although sort of time doesn't sort of leave massive marks, there's maybe a few more wrinkles around the eyes and sort of a little touch of grey in the beard of one of them. That sort of thing. And they said one of them, Peris, an ex-miner, but he's very sort of comfortably in uniform and certainly looks like he's put on a bit of weight since you last saw him. He's been well fed. He said, my lord, we thought the kingdom lost. What happened? It's been 5 years, Lord. Where have you been?
Wait, what now? I'm like, whoa, hold up. 5 years.
The passes fell, and all attempts to get through failed. We sent people over the mountains, and the entire kingdom was gone, swept away. There was no sign of it. We thought some great cataclysm had destroyed the entire kingdom. We've begun to build a new hold.
Wait, hang on. The last time I checked, it'd only been a couple of weeks I'd been gone.
No, my lord, it's been 5 years.
And that's when I just do the look at the rest of the group like, guys.
My lord, your cousin Charis has been leading us in rebuilding in what was Flowertown. The peace has settled, and we thought everyone was lost. We've begun sort of building new hold, and we're so sorry, my lord. If we'd known you were still alive, we swear we would have tried harder. We thought everyone was lost. We thought the entire family. We thought the farms. We thought everything was gone.
Oh,
It's like you had disappeared off the face of the map.
I think I need to sit down.
Yes, absolutely. And he sort of calls for sort of for beer or beer and mead and stuff. It's still winter where you are, but it feels like a different phase of winter from what you've been having. It's not it's past the midwinter shortest day. It's sort of been getting longer, and it's the first time really that you've noticed that the amount of daylight is longer than it has been for so long. But yes, they bring food, they bring drink, they sort of bring out sort of stalls and from sort of behind well from inside and sort of from various places around the mini camp. Um, there are eight dwarves based here, and they're all kind of looking at you as if, well, I suppose sort of in the same way that tourists probably would if King Arthur came out of a hole underneath Stonehenge or something. Is that sort of what's happening? Sort of, it's really disbelief. I mean, most of them kind of recognise by sight, but it's just that they're as much in shock as you are. It's just this total upheaval of stuff. The Paris sort of says, "My lord, I'll send a raven and let them know." And he's sort of comes along and then there's it's a sort of addition that had never been part of the. It's actually sort of a new kind of additional building built onto the sort of extra bit built onto the side of the thing, where they've got ravens, and they literally tie a scroll and off it goes flying off to the east.
Yeah, so once all this everything's set up, I just do what Foreign does best and grab sort of just basically the biggest jug of alcohol, just down it all in one go, and I go, "Can I have another one, please?"
Absolutely, my lord, anything for you.
Because it's just the absolute shock of having just realised I've lost 5 years of my life. I'm like, I need booze.
My lord, what happened? We we thought maybe that something had wiped out you and the troll. We've had no more trouble from the trolls. We've had peace. We've had a chance to kind of rebuild after the mind flayers and the Dwager. And we've had sort of a few running battles with sort of some leftover Dwager that we managed to sort of battle back towards the mines and seal their ways up from Kuiper. We got the Sky Tower built. The
Nice.
House Livender now. We've got a regular route, and we're talking about getting the roads upgraded down to the crag, and just I mean, you'll be proud. You'll be amazed by just how much we've managed in the time since you went. Just
this is all just like, I remember all the stuff with the mind flares, and then just there was all this stuff to do with trolls and the winter's night and phase stuff. And as far as I know, it's only been a few weeks.
And I look at Sauron and go, the world of Fae operates in a different time to the rest of us. I suspect when the avalanches fell, it was part of a spell to lock us out from the rest of the world and support. What I am concerned with is that Fae thinks the ogres and the trolls destroyed Flower Town. Does this mean she's in on it? And I trusted my sister foolishly?
Oh, my lady, Flower Town was utterly destroyed. We've been rebuilding these last 5 years. It was razed to the ground. The trolls came in force in the night, and no, we've renamed it Newhold because seemed a good way to honour you all. And you can sort of see him do this. You need to see this. And he sort of points to, and there's like a marker just at the kind of just so the road starts to lead up into the passes, and it's got all your names on, and it's got the date from 5 years ago.
Whoa,
The
whoa, whoa,
heroes of
hang
the
on. If it's
Hold.
been
The
5
hero-
years,
The heroes of the Hold. You're all called.
just whoa, whoa, whoa. If it's been 5 years, I is there any way for me to get for us to get word back to Cole and Odif, because they're probably wondering what the absolute fucking hell happened to us.
Yes, House Civis have got we can send a message from Newhold. From
Right?
Drown
Yes.
House was. Yes, yeah, we absolutely we can. Yeah, that can happen. Should we make haste and so he sort of calls a couple of guards, says, please accompany the heroes, the
Yeah.
DDC.
I maybe sort of finish off my second tankard of drink and go, yes, right, I need to do this. Yeah, Odif.
Yeah.
Just a sudden sort of like blinding parental thing, like, no, I need to contact him. Sod everything else.
Yeah. So a couple of the guards are detailed to accompany you and take you down, and sort of looking along the map there. Essentially, they take you down along this kind of this north of the main kind of river flow. Couple of hours, you've got to see sort of again signs like the old battlefield, sort of is all sort of grassed over. The old palisades have all been dismantled. There's still humps and hillocks and where there's been sort of destruction from the big one of the big battles that you had, but again very much that thing of time erasing the scars of battle. It bring you along further past the old temple where Kakana had been hiding out, and it's still pretty much as it ever was, but maybe a bit more moss on the walls, a bit more ivy. But there's a sort of a camp of shepherds who are based there, and there's goats being out to pasture in the sort of in the surrounding hills, and sort of attempts at sort of like, not quite a shanty town, but there are a number of small cabins where people set things up. And then you get to, it all takes maybe a couple of hours, not that long, a few hours. Get to the point here on the isthmus, and a bridge has been built across. Put a quick line on there. A bridge has been built, and ahead you can sort of see kind of the crossroads that it ever was. You can sort of see sort of some of the old foundations, old foundation stones are sort of blackened and split from heat, and the graveyard's bigger than it was, and there's a castle being built. There's basically a keep at the moment that's being built just to the north of where the town is. The buildings are mostly cabins rather than sort of the kind of the brick and stone that they were, but most of them have now got stone foundations, and it looks to be a process of houses getting renewed. There's a lot of new builds, and sort of where they can, they sort of the boards are being plastered, and sort of stones being reused from old sort of structures to kind of rebuild these walls. And there's more guards and more people, and it's obviously that the crow has the raven got there well and truly, because there's more guards. There's like you get in there, and it's just like the entire town sort of assembles, and it's sort of like this really odd mix of relief and confusion and maybe an element of remorse or confusion of now what? And sort of Charis, who you remember had led the defence of Flowertown Tide Pass, he comes out and he's kind of wearing richer clothing, sort of dressed much more like a noble. Sort of got a chain of office that it looks like it's modelled on the. It's got a seal that's kind of the Amber Hammer seal, but it's very much a replica rather than the original that you've had. It's sort of been very much in honour of. And he just takes one look at you and just tears just well up, and he sort of just flings himself into your arms, Thorin, and he just hugs you with 5 years of regret and remorse and utter confusion. Beside himself, absolutely beside himself. With, I'm so sorry. Please, the realm is yours. I didn't. I had no intention of taking it. They needed someone to lead. We needed to defy the world and to show them we were still here. And we started
Yes.
building here, but we
And that's
couldn't.
where I sort of like kind of tried to calm him and go, it's fine, cousin. Just, yeah, I'm just as confused as everyone else at the moment because as far as I know, it's only probably been a few weeks, maybe a couple of months tops. But I'm being told 5 years has gone.
Yes, it's this. The there were raids from the trolls, there were raids from the Dwagar. We fought those, and we fought them off. We came back. The armies of the Silver Flame, the Inquisitor had. They hadn't gone far, but they doubled back to help.
That's something.
They helped stave off the worst, and then as we sort of got back on our feet, we had forces come from Breland and from Aundair, sort of just, everyone just kind of pitched in. They kind of realised the scale of what was going on, and we fought them back, and the houses sort of, they carried on building, and House Orion have sort of increased sort of trade in our direction because we found we found banks of Eberron shards to the north. We're a rich kingdom. You lead a rich kingdom. We have unknown. We had previously unknown banks of Eberron shards in the mountains to the north, and at shallow depths, Kyber shards. The houses are falling over themselves to sort of do trade with us. Not so much that the amber and silver that we still produce and we still work, but that's more kind of like that's the more artisanal stuff that we do. But yes, yes, Odif. My God, yes, quick, House Civis. He's met them as well. Remember, they came for the big party.
Yeah.
They kind of camp a bit. They sort of make room for you at the there's a sort of a local bar. I'll try and find a picture for you. Bear with me. Where they kind of set you up to have have a chance to kind of settle and sort of actually sort of be around people and eat and drink and start to try and pick up on bits and pieces. And that's my map. I need to find that one. Building settlements. There it is. Newest place called the Bear and the Bee.
The Bear and the Bee House. No.
Okay.
Somewhat within my notes. The Bear and the Bee House. BBH.
There you go. Is that appearing on your screen now?
It is.
Yeah, it's just coming through now. It's just a little bit blurry, but it'll catch up in a second.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
No, mine's taking
I'll just put you in
mine's
the
taking a
there.
minute. There we go.
Okay.
I can say that I I didn't know you were going to use it.
Yeah, it's sort of on. It's on the roadway there. Brewery where where they make the mead and the beers up there to the left. Main sort of area there. It's mostly just used by people travelling north to the sort of the to the Dragon Shard fields and or back from the mines. It's got a nice little garden there. It's got a kitchen and stuff. There's a clean. They've got stables. They have stables with there's a couple of clawfoots. Well, there's space for you to put your clawfoot in the end one there. A couple of horses further up there. They kind of keep them just a little bit separate, so your clawfoot doesn't eat the horses. Yeah, nice new place. It's sort of still got that very much the kind of the new sort of the scent of the sap in some of the dried or drying timbers, and it's sort of very fresh sawdust on the floor. And, a wonderful place. But yes, they sort of who wants to go to House Civis to send the message or send messages?
Me, because I've got messages to send to, as I said, places where I've lived before. So
Okay, well, what I'll do then is I'll probably sort out what I want to sort of like say, and then be like, right, I think I'll tag along with Kayluma.
I quickly wrap my diary that I've been keeping in some sort of paper, and say, if you can get this off, can you send it home?
I'm like, yeah, give it here, because maybe I've managed to get my thoughts kind of in order and done like some kind of letter to Odif just to say like, I am alive and so is the rest of the party. It's just, yeah. Basically.
Okay. Let's stop and have a quick bio break there because it's nearly 4 o'clock.
Good idea, because I can get a fresh kit tea then.
Absolutely. So shall we say come back for 10 past? Yeah, 10 past.
Sounds good.
If the kettles take ages, and give you all a chance to kind of digest that bombshell that has just landed right in the middle of you all.
Everybody that is watching,
See
go
you.
and grab your cups of tea and or coffee and or hot chocolate or whatever you're drinking. We'll be back soon.
Yay.
soon.
Welcome back, everyone. You might notice something new. There's no snow on the map.
Oh, thank fuck.
We are done with that.
Oh, Kalima's just like, where am I going?
I don't know. It's winter. It's raining.
No, it's not.
And in the game. Yeah, you've sort of just had a chance to kind of gather yourselves, go to the loo, open the windows, and sort of gather your thoughts about what messages you want to send out. So Kaluma actually sort of said first that's well, no, actually no, it was Thorin who said first. So have you had a chance to compose what message you would like to send?
Yeah, I think slight sort of meta game. Whilst I was making my cup of tea during the break, basically, yeah, foreign is basically like, well, probably starts it off with, okay, this letter is probably very out of the blue, but I am very much alive. Your other dad, Kayluma, is very much alive. We all are. And then maybe I go on to sort of try and explain a little bit about, like, I don't know, like the trolls and the winter's night, but sort of maybe in not too much detail, but just sort of give an overview of what's happened and mention about the sort of like Feywild time, and I think it's made things go squiffy.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of do it once upon a time in a world
Yes.
far, far away.
Trying to bear in mind that sort of like, sort of Odiv's still going to be, I suppose, like teenage years roughly, so I don't want to go into sort of bogging him down with all this stuff, just trying to keep it simple so that like he'll be able to digest it.
Okay. So are you addressing it to him, Cole? How are you?
I think it's going to be sort of for both of them, I suppose.
Okay. So what's the kind of the kind of gist or keywords?
Saying I'll probably be like try and sort of condense it down, saying that like sort of like, I know this is probably very out of the blue, but we are all very much alive and okay. There's been some weird stuff with the winter's night and Feywild time going on, and things have been very strange, and apparently now 5 years has passed, even though I only thought it was a few months.
Few weeks.
Few weeks, even weeks, months, whatever it was. I can't remember now. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they charge you a gold coin to send that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gnome sort of kind of looks at you with sort of a slightly bemused eye, but sort of sort of what you kind of sprawl out. And he sort of says, "And do you know roughly where I'm sending this?"
That's a good point. Where do we live? I can't even remember now.
You live in Windhaven, which
That was it.
in around there.
Yeah, so I say it's going to Windhaven, then sort of maybe sort of like give them a sort of the address of where we live so that they know where it's going.
He goes, okay. You see him sort of open up a little journal, sort of flick through various codes and sort of like tables, and just so he gets to like sort of one. Okay, fair enough. He sort of reaches out and sort of holds onto this sort of this carved semi-precious sort of stone that sort of inside it, inside the box. He kind of opens the box, sort of lifts the lid, and sort of brings it out and sort of holds it. And you see the sort of the lines of his dragon mark glow and pulse slightly as he focuses on that, and then sort of the missive that you've kind of assembled, and he sort of focuses on that.
Sorry, I
Yes,
think
you
me
just
and I think me and Foreign are both having very much just like watching the holy fuck brain at the moment.
Okay, go on.
But yeah,
Yes, you
I'm
just
trying to
said
trying to think what to say. But good.
if there's a reply, where should I send for you?
Uh oh. Uh. I mean, if possible, if you can get someone through to the original Amber Hammer hold, that would be great.
I'm certain. I think I'd need somewhere that actually still exists. Maybe the bar or something, or have you got people you're staying with?
Uh,
At which point I pop over his head because I've noticed he's been gone a while and go, the original Amber Hammer hold still does exist. We thought you didn't.
He's sort of uh, I just work here. Perhaps if you come in tomorrow and I can sort of tell you if anything's arrived for you.
and I
How
sort of
about
like,
that?
and I'm sort of like and I'm sort of like managed to sort of pull myself together and go, yeah, I can pop back. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, right, very much okay. Has anyone else got any messages they need sending or parcels that you need delivering?
Kalima's gonna
And
hand
that's what.
over.
Yeah, you do yours.
Kalima's gonna hand over 3 well-written letters.
Yeah.
Um, I'll DM you what the letters say.
Okay.
When I've written them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, gonna be sending one. Oh fuck! I forgot. Got 3 places. The 3 places we were talking about, Tim.
Okay. Right. Do you want the message to be sent, or would you prefer the actual physical messages to be sent?
The actual physical.
The actual
because
parcels.
they've,
We'll get the I'll get commission in. Parcel delivery kind of takes a look at the addresses and again gets out the book of sort of names. Right, that will be that'll be 10 gold coins for to cover the travel and transport and insurance and yes. Lovely. Just put them in the slot there, and there's like a little kind of box at the front where you can sort of drop your coins in.
sorry.
And then I do the whole, oh yeah, Valenia, parcel. And then that's when I hand over the package of the diary. I'm like, yeah, sorry, there's that to go as well.
Where are you wanting that sent, Valenia?
To my home. Oh fucking hell! What's my bloody home called? Sorry, let me just find it. I did name it where it was, and my brain's just farted completely.
I can't remember what it is now. Is it Eldine Reaches or is it?
It's in the
further
west.
west than
It's
that.
the west. It's where the deserty place is. No, that's not the right one. No, oh, for the love of Bob.
Take the land.
Oh my god, I'm burping like no one's business. Right, campaign.
Was it the Shadow Reach?
Shadow Marshes, is it?
Shadow Marsh, yeah.
But I made a specific village, but yeah, it's going there.
Okay. Yes, that'll be 20 gold coins, please.
I just whatever it is, I'll pay foreign or whoever back.
Yeah. Okay.
I do the whole like, I'm here, I'll pay it. It's fine. It's not like I haven't got like enough gold.
Gold. I've forgotten the next word.
Along with the nearly sort of like, well, the sort of nearly 2,000 gold equivalent in platinum on top of the 6 grand in gold.
And the rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so so that's put aside, ready for a courier to come pick up and to take away. Some of the other letters, the sending messages used to send an immediate thing through. Has anyone else got anything they want to send? Any communications they want to make at the moment?
No, because I've only got Faye and things already in the hold with me.
Okay.
Don't have any way to get hold of Felicity Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Could also ask Oliver.
Oh yes, actually, Arwen should probably write a letter back to the House of Jazan. Just back to the house. Healing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Have to think about that. You don't have to do it now, but if you think
just
about that,
he just writes a simple letter going, the job I was sent to do might take a little bit longer than we anticipated. I'll try to be back as soon as I can. However, I'm sorry if I can't. I am a little holed up.
okay. And then gathering back at the pub. The lack of anywhere else to go. The town seems to be thriving. It's there's a sort of the market is well established. As I said, houses in pretty good repair. It's sort of definitely sort of a sense of there's more traffic. The roads that sort of head down towards south, towards the main road, is very much a case of there's a lot of new construction there. House Orion have sort of got transport. It's really interesting actually. There's a mix of a mix of traders and of transport types that you've not seen in quite some time. You've got the kind of the usual merchant caravans led by sort of horses or by pack dinosaurs. You see some more kind of mechanical, steam-driven things, very similar actually to that kind of prototype of the large sort of set of legs. Similar sorts of ideas where there's sort of mechanical steam things. There sort of seems to be almost like a two competing sort of elements of this kind of artificial. There's one that's kind of the more traditional House Orion magical with the kyber crystals, and it's sort of that sort of use of the enchantment and the dragon marks, and then a number of gnomish sort of gnomish run contraptions that are sort of this kind of steam and sort of much more kind of mechanical in how they do the same sort of thing. Not as fast maybe, but sort of that slow, steady, plodding sort of approach to things. There are windmills. There are sort of a mixture of the lighting. The burning lanterns are sort of are set everywhere. So there's proper street lighting, and a general sense of kind of bustling energy that is totally at odds with this kind of still grim determination that you've all been living in and through. It's sort of very much that kind of in kind of looking at how everyone's just getting on with their lives, this sense of the world sort of carried on without you. It's moved on. There are references in the bars that you don't quite get to dragon marked airs of various, the sort of thing where you might have overheard a name in the background in the pub and thought, oh yeah, so and so, kind of like in the way that that you recognise political figures. There's kind of sporting sort of news from far-flung places, or references that you just almost that sort of I'm not quite sure what they're talking about, and I'm slightly afraid to ask. But you are at the same time also sort of greeted by like this steady stream of the dwarves and some of the members of the houses. The Skydock Master in particular comes to search you out, Thorin. His name is Kelsin. He's a sort of slender half elf with sort of a goatee, trimmed sort of trimmed tash and goatee.
Oh God, it's Elton John.
Oh God. His shirt sort of slightly open, and again his dragon mark sort of proudly there on his chest, sort of see peeking out of the thing. And he sort of comes and sort of introduces himself while you're all sort of at table, sort of chowing down on food that isn't heavily salted and preserved. It's actually fresh food. As I said, my Lord Thorin, I've just been made aware of your miraculous survival and of your companions. I suppose a few years later than anticipated, but I'm pleased to be able to announce the completion of the project that we agreed for the building of the Skydocks, and House Livendar is, of course, very pleased to be able to continue to honour its agreements on the bringing of trade and facilitating of bringing resources to your lands. If you have some time in the next couple of days to sort of come pour over some of the contracts that have been drawn up with your interim government, just to kind of ratify them and make certain that you do fully approve, and that we can maybe talk about if there are any concerns. I'm sure we can we can make certain that sort of trade and prosperity continues for all without any hiccups or problems, just because we have other people's names on contracts, and we obviously rather have the rightful heir to sort of be a signatory to some of the contracts that are in place regarding access to resources and tax levels and the like. If I can be so bold, how did you all survive? We were told that the valleys had collapsed, and there was no trace of anyone.
All I can probably say is like weird Feywild time stuff. As far as I'm concerned, it's only been a few weeks.
I was going to say your healthcare regime and skincare regimes do seem to have worked remarkably well. You are certainly looking a lot not as weathered as I might have feared after the harsh conditions that you must have been enduring. My congratulations. Are you planning to return to the hold this evening, or are you staying in town? I'd love to have a care package to show our appreciation brought through.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay the night because I'm waiting back on a message.
Okay, lovely. Right. Well, I'll send someone over with say if you come out without expectation of going back. May I say if I send over some samples of night clothing and sort of sample toiletries and maybe some fruit and other luxuries that would just to kind of welcome you back. I suppose that's probably the best thing. Yes, sorry, I'm rabbiting. I'm not used to meeting such illustrious heroes as yourself. I'll be going then. And he sort of does that kind of semi backing off of aware that he's let his mouth kind of run on a bit.
He's
Um,
word vomiting.
yes, absolutely he is. He's sort of really quite right. And he sort of really kind of retreats back into the press of the crowds, which are growing thicker as the afternoon and the evening goes on, and partly that's people finishing out in work and coming back and sort of starting to sort of get get ready for evening meals, and partly word getting out that you're back from the dead.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah, there's sort of a a tune playing in the background that sort of the guy gets about sort of 7-8 bars into, and then sort of you can hear him almost and then he starts playing something else. There's sort of a bit of a embarrassment on his face. So what's no idea? What's the one you recognised? So what are you doing as the afternoon, the evening goes on? The world is your oyster, as the saying goes. What are you doing? What would you like to do?
To the hold.
Yeah.
Because if I don't come, I think we'll have my dragon tail
Mm-hmm.
for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'd better tell her that Thorin is staying over in Newtown?
Newhold.
Newhold.
Newtown is the one outside of the hold.
That's right.
Sorry, yeah. Newhold. So that she doesn't have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, good idea. I do not need my sister having kittens on top of me realising we've been assumed dead for 5 years.
And then I have a look back and say, maybe that should be puppies, Thorin, rather than kittens.
And I just look at her like, shush,
I'm like-
get out. I just do the whole give you the deadpan look and the get out.
What do you want baby draggies then?
Just
Baby
no, I don't need that image in my head right now.
dragons.
That's maybe sort of like chasing you out the door, trying to hit you with like a sort of like a napkin or something. Like get out, go away.
I'm learning a sense of humour.
But I am sort of trying to suppress a smile at the same time, just sort of like, oh my god, Kerner's learning to have fun.
As we're there, I'd start asking around if there's any way, like any way I could find out about what's happened while in the time that we've been gone, and like newspapers and all that sort of thing. And if there is like newspapers and stuff, I'll like while we're eating, I'll just be there flicking through.
Actually, no, newspapers, absolutely. There's sort of a number of different papers, competing papers that are being sort of distributed out. One of them's local, so which means that there's a printing press somewhere in town. Whereas the others sort of are sort of more like gazetteers that have been sort of sent out from larger areas. Make an investigation roll. I think that's probably going to be the best way to kind of sift through and pick out the main things.
Investigation. 13.
Okay, fair enough. The biggest sort of things is prevailing is that it's been
1 week since you laughed at me.
It's been a period of peace. There's very much sort of still, obviously it wasn't long after the last war when you were first starting to adventure, and the last 5 years have seen just from what you've been able to pick out, sort of concerted efforts to try and keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think sort of the kind of the scars the previous conflicts have are still keenly felt. There's editorials about Warforged rights, but also about sort of a counter push against how Warforged are threatening the livelihoods of common folk in some places because they don't need as much sleep. They can run two jobs at the same time. And unscrupulous uh, bosses are sort of hiring Warforged as warehouse managers and then also as security guards because they can just sort of go into um, sort of semi-conscious mode and just kind of
Mm-hmm.
stand there in the dark and then wake and things like that. So there's sort of a bit of an undercurrent of sort of trying to adjust to these sorts of new realities. There's one thing you do pick out is that House Jarasco is being challenged to a degree by sort of I suppose what's best described as artisanal small producers of potions. House Jarasco has always had this sort of being the kind of monopoly holder largely on the creation of healing items, healing potions, um, where most people get their healing services from. But there's been there's been a sort of small rise in healers and alchemists who are not affiliated to Dragonmarked houses, who've been I suppose, for lack of a better word, selling their stuff as all natural and not produced by big soulless houses. They're made with care and with love and individual. And House Jarasco pushing back with sort of, well, you see, the quality control on these things is really, and you can kind of see this trend of the established big operators kind of pushing back against smaller operators.
Yeah.
Um, and pretty much reflecting the what you've already been noticing is that in terms of means of transport, there's quite a sort of a back and forth about the difference between the kind of the magical dragon house owned monopolies in terms of Luendar, Orion, and I've forgotten the other one already, so I'm doing really, really well because I'm tired. But essentially, sort of the air, sea, and land specialists, and then the kind of the more mechanical options, which have largely started coming out of Zilago, the Gnomish nations, but also increasingly as a number of artificers go freelance and start sort of building these devices and infusing them with their various techniques. And there seems to be sort of almost like industrial espionage in both directions, both trying to sort of work out what works and what best on synthesis on both sides. So again, tensions there. The lightning rails seem to be running faster. The network seems to be sort of also possibly growing because you're seeing a lot more editorials about demand for smaller branch lines
Mm-hmm.
rather than just being the big cities. So you actually pick up from the local paper that there's a drive to raise subscriptions from the locals to petition for the creation of a lightning rail branch and station out here, given the importance of the Dragon Shard fines and the increased activity and things like that. So that's sort of that's the big local thing, is that they're trying to get a branch line, maybe something that only runs maybe once a day or once a week or something, but still that there's a regular rather than having to go all the way down to Cragwall or and then onward to market. passage rather, is that actually there's a way to get into that wider network and get more transport going. So that's sort of like I suppose the kind of the biggest things that's been going on.
If there's an increase in Kyber Shard, a Kyber Shard trade and all the rest of it in this area, does that mean the Eye of Kyber still exists?
No. Well, no, we didn't. You broke it.
Yeah, but why? Because obviously we were in a different time zone thing, Feywild, but then we've got the Kyber Shards are still there's still more Kyber Shards here than what? Is that due to is that due to us breaking the Eye of Kyber, or?
No way of telling. I mean, it's not like they're finding sort of shards all over the surface. They're still being found underground, but it seems that some of the Kyber Dragon Shard banks are nearer the surface around here than they are elsewhere, and so it's easier to extract them. There's a particular mine. They've opened up to the kind of the northwest. That sort of seems to be the main activity for it, but that's kind of the attraction, is that sort of normally to get hold of these things, sort of dangerous expeditions have to be either have to be raised or lots of money put into protecting the miners in places where they have them. Don't forget, these are the shards that are used to power the airships, to keep the lightning rails enchanted and running. They store the elementals, they store the big sort of summonings required to keep these things going. Whereas the Eberron shards and the kind of Sybaris shards, which are not so much in this area, tend to be found sort of more on the surface, and they kind of tend to be used more as fuel. So it's not sort of it's to use our world thing. It's sort of like a mini gold rush.
Okay, so
because Lyrindar had an agreement with you first, and you had Civis in the area, and Orion have dipped in, they've kind of managed to get a bit of a tight grip on it. So there are lots of independent prospectors out there hunting for these things, and that's why you're getting a lot more traffic and a lot more involvement in the area.
Weird question then. When we destroyed the Eye of Kyber, was there any repercussions in the normal world? If things, like, if crystals changed the way they worked?
There's no mention of any change.
Okay, I just wanted to.
And nothing you're observing, for example, in the Everbright lanterns that light this place. There's nothing that seems to suggest there's any change in any way. The Eye of Kyber was just a really large round Kyber Dragon Shard.
I didn't know if it was like a central piece or.
No, not that it seems like. I think it was more, that was a name that was given to it to differentiate it as being so big and so large and such a source of power, such a sort of a focus rather for the powers that they were channeling. So yeah, there's not been an effect. There's not been an effect on the way that shards of any type are working out here in the outside world. The biggest change, obviously, that happened when it broke was that the portal collapsed, the winter was broken, and suddenly you basically come back from the dead.
Okay,
as far as the world's concerned.
Yeah, I and it's like your brain just goes on a.
Are you just overthinking it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did that in Baldur's Gate last night. Completely bypassed the trap by DM thinking something. So it's like, wait a minute.
Okay, so Kern has gone back to the hold. Not a problem. It's a well trodden set of paths, and actually sort of now you know what you're looking out for. You can sort of see little kind of camps in the hills and sort of little farmsteads that have been built up, and sort of sometimes it's shepherds, and there's a few attempts at crops. Obviously, it is still winter. But yes, it's much more of a feel of it feels more settled and civilized, sort of like the countryside near places like Assinch.
Mhm.
If you remember, there was that very different feel as you then hit the mountains of it being a lot more sort of treacherous paths and being out in the wilderness. It's feeling much less that. It's feeling much more settled as in nearer the bigger towns now.
I just imagine, like, as I'm finishing, like, the scrolls and the papers, like, passing them to Arwen to see if he finds anything. Just like,
Yeah. I was going to say Arwen would probably also be browsing the stuff as well, so that fits.
Yeah.
hot,
Okay.
hot single clerics in your area.
Immediately turns to the next page. Nope.
No, I was like, I know they are. I'm here.
Arwen goes, I am the hot single cleric. What are you talking about?
Oh.
Hang on, Morgan. Yeah, I mean, in terms of things that you're looking through on these papers, is there anything, Moon, that you're keeping in a particular?
I'm trying to think what would be important that Leah's not already asked about.
That's fair. That's fair.
Is there anything else in the news about the? Because I know you mentioned in passing in the newspaper that about the saga. Any in the paper?
I don't know if Moon broke
Sorry,
up.
I completely lost all sound.
Oh
for
my
a
lord.
second there.
You know, so how you mentioned in the paper that there was the the house of Jasog. God, I hate that word.
I've just written it down. Where's it gone?
The House of
Jasog.
Healing, Jurassic.
Thank you. Yes, that you said that in passing about like the competition sort of thing. Is like anything else in the paper about it, or like about this, or about like the new thing that's come up?
No, I mean, make an investigation roll. Let's see if I can.
Investigation. That'd be an 18.
Okay. No, I mean, one thing that it does sort of highlight is something that you already knew from your own thing, is that the shrines, the healing shrines, the healing sort of places, clerics and holy houses continue not to really be very much into the business of healing people. It's much more that kind of the worships and everything else like that. But increasingly, actually with that role, yes, you find a reference that your home temple has formed a joint exercise with House Jarasco, to sort of have a kind of a joint exercise where people can come and sort of have their spiritual needs attended to, and then House Jarasco are also there, the halflings of that house, to kind of deliver the medical support. So looking to both body and soul at the same time. Usually with sort of one of the hospitality homes nearby as well. So it's not quite sort of spiritual spas, but it's almost that kind of feel to it. Back certainly back for where you were cloistered. It looks like they've got in on this kind of slightly more commercial aspect of providing healing.
Okay.
Paluma,
Yeah.
you sort of wanting to do research on other bits and pieces, or are you sort of just generally in a what the fuck sort of. What are you
yeah,
doing?
Kalima's in very much a panicked, what the fuck knitting frenzy.
Okay. An ever increasing scarf that's now starting to kind of, hit the ground and is now sort of spooling around you and sort of building up layers sort of at your feet, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Nurse Wen, somewhere in time, slowly wrapping it around themselves.
Yeah.
Nurse Wen just sort of like creating a portal to go. Oh, okay. Kalima's basically just
Stress knitting.
stress knitting and just freaking out inside.
Okay.
Also progressively calling out to like the sovereign host Gurlong, just going, help! What's happened? How could it be 5 years?
There's not a reply per se, but sort of a sense of you feel more connected now than you had been. At the time, you didn't really notice it, but it was like sort of the sense of spiritual connection. Now you think about it, for the time that you've been there since the pass is closed, have been more like shouting down a corridor, whereas now it feels like talking in the same room.
Right.
That's kind of the best analogy I've come up with. So yes, there's much more of a sort of that sense of the presence and sort of the kind of the invisible wings, sort of comfort, sort of that sort of feel around you. Sort of that's the first time you felt that. As long as you can remember, just that quiet stillness of. Time may have moved, but some things are also still eternal.
Right.
And your relationship with the host remains in that sense of the eternal.
Right. Okay.
It is unhurt. It is strong.
Okay.
And similarly, Arwen yourself, actually, when you stop and think about it, you're actually feeling more connected on a spiritual level than actually you really realised, perhaps, than you had been. Yeah, Kalumi, you're sort of doing that. You sort of notice a sort of a young dwarven lad, sort of kind of cleaning tables, few things off and some moving things around, looking as over, and he sort of just keeps sort of cleaning looks and then sort of carrying on, cleaning looks, carrying on.
What? He keeps looking at me.
Yeah, in particular, and as the evening goes on, he doesn't make any of it. Just every now and then, every time you look, after a while, almost every time you're looking up, he's sort of there and looking away, sort of thing.
Kalima's gonna just sort of like put their knitting down, take a big sigh, just look at the lad and go, can I help you?
I've never seen an angel before.
This is when Morgan now cries.
What do you mean, angel?
Big flappy wings.
You think I'm an angel?
When I was younger, I saw you fall out of the sky into Lord Thorin's lap, and you look like you haven't aged a day, and have you come back out of the sky again?
And that's
Somewhat,
when and that's when I sort of like hear the mention about the Kaluma falling in my lap that time, thinking, oh, I'd forgotten about that.
Somewhat, yes. Yes.
Welcome back.
Kalima's going to reach into one of their many pouches and bring out a, as pristine as it can be, Sovereign Host. Token
Medal
symbol,
token?
like it looks like a coin, and it's got
Okay,
like the
yeah.
Sovereign Host like symbol on it.
Yeah.
It's and Kalima's just going to lean forward, hand the coin over to the dwarven dude, and just go, well, hopefully one day you'll find your own angel.
Thank you. Tucks in the jerkin and sort of picks up the plates and whistles off to the kitchen.
After that, Kalima's going to be like, goes back to the knitting going, I thought things were safe, so me, an angel, and just starts giggling.
It's nearly 5 o'clock, so I think compared to how long the last couple of sessions have been, how do you feel about calling a halt there?
Yeah.
I am happy
then-
with that.
Okay.
Because
Draw the table.
I'm seizing up and I have a bad back, so
Okay. We'll draw that there. Yes, you successfully get back to the hold, and you have those conversations. Rest of you, yes, you're able to find lodgings. A gold coin each for those staying in the town for
okay.
Okay, I can update this.
room and board.
How much?
A gold.
I'll get yours, Arwen. Don't worry.
I can afford 1 gold.
I was going to say, if anyone was really stuck, I was happy to do it.
I've got 615 gold, thank you very much. Well, actually, I've got 1,337 gold pieces.
I just thought, if we've been away all that time, are we still being paid from the university?
Probably not. They probably think we're dead. I probably should have sent something to them to say we're not. But to be fair, I forgot about the university. Can I just say it's been a very, very...
This is like the literal embodiment of, wait, you guys are getting paid?
Yeah, I'll need to add you to the list, Arwen.
Backdate
Yeah, it's
it
literally
5
that
years.
It's like, yeah, I don't think they're paying us that again. No, I think they are. But you should probably write it up. Wait, getting
There's a set of conversations.
Yeah. Sorry, Tim. What was
It is likely you've been fired. Yes.
was there any loot from the last encounter?
Yes, there was quite a lot.
Should we do that off stream and?
I think so. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that off stream. Take it from there. Right. Well, on that note, I said nearly 5 o'clock. Thank you all very much. You've all coped really well with that curveball.
We don't know.
No, you really, really don't.
Why, yes.
I'm going to pass the control of your channel back to you, Leah. Congratulations, all yours.
Thank you very much. Yes. Well, that was definitely a curveball. Oh wow. That's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. Thank you, Max. Yes, I do hope. Literally, I popped my back yesterday just getting out of a chair.
Always the worst.
So yeah, that was fun. When are you back tomorrow, Moon?
I am indeed. 8 o'clock, Destiny.
So you're doing
Because
Destiny.
it was a lot of fun last time. I enjoyed it. You guys, well, I say you guys because the majority of everyone.
Yeah, my entire community just turned up for Moon's stream.
It's a pretty much everyone that I see in chat pretty much showed up anyway, so
Would you like company?
I may be accompanied by 2 amazing people.
What else was I gonna say?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
What else was I going to say? Congratulations, Max, on becoming VIP for the channel. I thought because of all the gifted subs and all the rest of it, Max deserved that VIP.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Max. Do we now need to call you Lord Max? Or Sir Max?
What's the gender neutral term?
Max.
Is it Sir? Is it? It is. It is still Sir. They Max. The gender neutral term is still Sir, isn't it? But spelt different.
BAE Max. That's what we're gonna call it.
This is right, that's Max and Channel.
Yep. That is Max's new name, Baymax.
Oh, or if it was only the second incarnation of it, it'd be a Betamax.
Oh,
Or if they were a dragon, Vermax.
Anyway, right. Sorry, people. We are doing the ADHD thing of of just randomly disappearing. Thank you, everybody, for today. That was a really good session. Thank you, Tim, for being an awesome DM as always. Thank you, everybody, for being an awesome group and an amazing polycule. And we will. Joe's cameras for me has frozen on a totally amazingly.
I want to crash.
No, if it helps, Joe, you're not frozen for me.
Okay, good.
It seems to be something with OBS. I don't know what it is. But I might be able to get Streamlabs working now because they've added host stuff in, so I might be able to get Streamlabs working again for us rather than using OBS, because I think it's OBS that keeps crashing my system.
Okay.
So yeah, OBS, yay. So we will be back on Friday with the Destinies. Moon will be back with the Destinies tomorrow on their channel. Go and support Moon because they are awesome and deserve all the love.
Thank you.
I've got a lot going on this week. You know what it's like? I've got a lot going on, but I don't know what's going on. I know you're coming down, Morgan. Friday, back Saturday, back Sunday with more D&D. Well, I think we're back Sunday with more D&D.
That's the plan.
And we will say thank you, everybody, for your ongoing support. And I just want to put that little thing up on top of Thorin's head again. The rage!
Or if you're an avatar watching, thank you for.
There's a joke going to happen that he's going to struggle with.
Yeah, don't worry. No,
I just love how.
thank you for the support.
That's what you're trying to say, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, on that note
Right.
of Morgan's brain, on Morgan EXE stalling, take meds, stay hydrated, and get some sleep. Good night, everybody. Good night.
See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.